Alright, so I'm guessing if you have come to this video, then you already know roughly what the archetype of a nice guy is. This is a guy who makes an effort to put on a facade of niceness and positivity with everything that they do, with the underlying motivation that if they're just nice and positive to everyone, then people will like them and give them what they want. And oftentimes the flip side of this is when this doesn't happen, that mask drops straight away and they become the most insufferable people on the planet, truly hateful and showing what they're all about, which is manipulation, essentially. If you want to see literally tens of thousands of examples of this, and if you want to give yourself, a bit of a laugh along with some sad cringing sometimes, you can check out the Nice Guys subreddit over on Reddit. I'll put a link to it in the description. I'll probably have had some examples on the screen if I can be bothered to edit them in, but the chances are you know the type of person that I'm talking about, and if you're a woman that's watching this, then you definitely know the type of person that I am talking about. And I certainly know the type of person that I'm talking about because I used to be that guy, and there's things that I wish I'd known, things that I wish some positive male role model in my life had sat me down and said, listen, Ben, you're fucking up in a major way. What you're doing isn't working. Quite frankly, it's wrong, it's stupid, and it's just going to make you miserable in life. I wish somebody had sat down and had that conversation with me. And so that's what I wanted to do in this video, is just to talk a little bit about what I wish somebody had told me when I was going through my nice guy phase as a man. So the first thing is that, frankly, it is an awful manipulation tactic. First and foremost, it just doesn't work. You can try it over and over and over and over again, and I reckon about 99.999% of the time it is not going to work. If you are just being nice so that you can sleep with someone or get into a relationship with someone, it will not work. It's not going to happen. And on the off chance that it does happen, it is likely because that person has some other issues going on. And once they solve those issues, and they will, you will be dropped because they will see you for the manipulator that you are. Because being a nice guy is a manipulation tactic. And I think that if you're honest with yourself for a second, you will know that this is true. If you are thinking to yourself, well, if I'm super, super nice to her, maybe, I don't know, she'll show me her tits or something, or maybe she'll just throw me a bone sometime, then you're not being nice for the sake of being nice. You're doing it with an ulterior motive in mind. Now, with that ulterior motive, there's a couple things that you need to know. Because you are not doing the nice things for the sake of doing nice things or doing nice things for a friend, it likely means that in that person or in the multiple friendships that you have where you are doing this, you actually don't have any true friends. And you will probably know this to be true because in spite of the fact that you're so nice to everyone and that there are people around you that you are nice to, you will feel lonely. And this is because you don't have true friends. There's going to be some people that, because you're willing to be nice, are going to be able to take advantage of that, and that's their own problem. But you've also got other people who have, to a certain level, bought into your nice guy act, but they're not friends with the real you. And when they see the real you, again, you will get dropped, and that's just going to make you feel even more lonely. So if you're doing this just because you feel lonely now, imagine how lonely you're going to feel when you've been so nice and it just hasn't worked. When this happened to me, I used to try and rationalize it away in my mind. I would think to myself, well, obviously this is their problem. I've been so nice. Why can't they see how nice I am? In other words, I put in the right amount of coins into the vending machine. Why haven't I gotten my chocolate yet? That's not how people work. And generally speaking, people don't like it when they realize that other people are being nice to them just so that they can get something from them. And the people who especially don't like this are women. And let me tell you something that you might not have realized. In whatever woman's life that you are trying to be the nice guy so that in the hopes that one day in a moment of weakness she might sleep with you, let me be 100% straight with you right now. She knows what you're doing. And she knows what you're doing because the chances are there are a lot of men who are trying this tactic with her right now, and there will have been dozens, maybe even hundreds of men who have tried the exact same tactic with her. She will have been dealing with this since she was a teenager. She can spot it. She knows what's happening, and at the moment she's just letting it slide. Right now she's being nice enough to not drop you and shatter your ego, but if you push it, then she eventually will. This is what happened to me. I pushed my luck being a nice guy, and eventually I got whiny and frustrated and entitled, and the girl that I was trying on this tactic with basically told me, Ben, if you keep this up, you're going to be alone forever. And yeah, it shattered my ego at the time because she was absolutely right. I was doing it all for the wrong reasons. And women know, they always do. In these situations, they will have been dealing with this since they were teenagers. They know what you're doing, and the chances are everyone does. If you're being a nice guy and not just for the sake of being nice, if you're doing it with an ulterior motive, as most nice guys are, you're going to make yourself miserable because you're going to be alone. You're not going to have true friends. You're going to know in your heart that all the relationships that you have in your life are built off of a lie. And as soon as people figure it out, you're done. That's going to make you paranoid. That's going to make you miserable. Is this tactic sounding like it should work? Is it sounding like it's something that you should be engaging in? I'm guessing that at the moment it's not. Now, when the nice guy act eventually fails, you're going to inevitably think to yourself, well, I've been so nice. How could this possibly have not worked? After all, I saw it in 1001 romance movies that if I'm just the super nice guy and if I'm super persistent, then, the pussy will rain on me from all directions. And it's not how life works. And when you realize that, your instinct is going to think to yourself, well, I've been so nice, but women always only go for the men who are assholes, so I'm just going to be an asshole instead. Well, I've got news for you, and you're not going to like this, but you've always been an asshole. You've just been a fucking coward about it. Being an asshole will not change the way that you are right now. If this is the way that you are, and this is your technique for trying to make friends or get into relationships or sleep with people, it's not going to work, and being an asshole is just going to be you taking your mask off. There's issues that you need to deal with, and I'm going to give you some very, very harsh truths in this video, and I hope that you'll bear with me because I wish somebody had told me this when I was doing this exact same shit. As a man, your best approach in life is to take a direct and vulnerable approach. There is no sense in trying to worm your way into people's lives. Either they want you there or you don't. You deal with that, but you be direct about it. If you want to get to know someone, go get to know them, but don't just go and be nice to them because you feel like, oh, well, that'll work, because it doesn't. It never does. You have got to take a direct approach. If you see a woman and you want to ask her out, don't be creepy about it and don't do it in an inappropriate way, but go and do it. If there's somebody in your life that you're like, oh, well, if I just be friends with her for a few months, then maybe she'll see what a nice person. No, fuck all that. She already knows what kind of person you are. People decide on what kind of person you are within the first few minutes of meeting you, and they will have a general idea of whether it's a yes or a no. If you're a little bit over 50%, then you're probably going to get a chance. If you're not, then you won't. But it's best to know up front because, as I said, women know. They've been dealing with this forever. And even if they are naive enough to fall for the trick, guess what? They've got girlfriends who do know what's happening, and they will be in her ear saying, You know he's doing this and this and this and this, and that his true colours are going to shine through, and she will figure it out. And then it's game over. So what's the point? You might as well do things the right way, the hard way, the direct way. And that means sometimes you've got to put your fucking heart on your sleeve and take the direct approach. Being a nice guy is just being a cowardly asshole. So cut it the fuck out. If you're going to be a man, it means you have to take action, direct action. It means you've got to be vulnerable. That means taking action even when you're scared, because otherwise, how are you ever going to get what you want out of life? If you're nice enough, people aren't just going to throw stuff at you. That's not how life works. Maybe, just maybe, every now and then, it'll succeed, but it won't be a long-term thing. Eventually, it will fall apart. So cut the nice guy bullshit and start taking a direct, manly approach to life. Don't be a fucking coward.